want to do that, yeah, with that.
Because it's so not normal.
Yeah.
Are these other people coming for the work session, anybody?
Start with that. We don't need everybody here for this. Yeah, on how they did it.
Can you work on that? I could probably just put out a piece.
Give an update on where things are at with some of the projects that we're considering for the future. And just again, have a kind of a roundtable discussion on that topic and the other topics that you guys have questions about. That's why he's here. So appreciate you coming, Matt. And I'll just kind of turn things over to you.
No problem.
Chime in as we need to. Very informal. If you have questions or anything, just speak up.
Not a problem. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Matt Lamps. I'm with BCA Architects over in Ottawa. So we've kind of had some discussions, Bob and I, and some of the board members over the past year or so, in discussion about some upcoming needs for your facility. We've kind of turned that into, let's call it a shopping list, things that need to be done. So what I would like to talk about today is there's 6 main items that I think need to be addressed at some point. So we need to look at prioritization of those. One thing I would like to do today is, or one thing I would like to not do today is talk about cost. The direction that I would like to get when we're all said and done here today is kind of a direction of which way you guys would like to go as far as what part of the shopping list you'd like to look at, and then we can start diving into costs. I don't want to spend a bunch of extra time putting numbers to every option if those options are that far down the road, because those numbers are not real at that point. We're looking at something that's going to happen 10 years from now, that number's not true. So, so let's just start off. There's 6 main items that need to be addressed at some point, or you guys have asked to be addressed. First and foremost is probably the boiler replacement. That's over here at the main entrance, that main boiler. I do know we spent some money on repairs last year of the burner. That was a significant cost.
A little over $36K for that.
That boiler is original to the facility. I will not tell you how much longer you have, because we don't know. I don't want to say it's on borrowed time, but it is going to time out at some point. You could get 1 year, you could get 5, you could get 10. But it's time to start planning to replace that.
What is it about those old boilers that tend to fail catastrophically so that you can't?
So the one thing that you'll notice that happened last year is the burner assembly no longer available. So was that a used burner assembly you bought?
Yeah, so if you remember the time frame when we ordered it versus when it was put in, I don't remember how long it was, but it was significant.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. It's not like you can go online and just order it like that.
I have a
It's
machine now.
a while to.
So it's an old steam boiler. Steam is ancient technology. They don't use steam anymore. They still do, but to find parts for an old steam boiler like that you're running into that. That's one of the downfalls to it. So one thing we looked at with the steam boiler was a replacement with a steam boiler that could be converted to hot water in the event you ever wanted to change the system moving forward. Like I said before, steam's kind of a heating system that's not used anymore. It's very hard to control. Hot water's kind of the next phase of that. So they do make a boiler that we could just essentially take out what you have, put in 2 new boilers. We'd always put in 2, we'd not put in 1. Gives us redundancy. You could put in a steam boiler, and like I said, if you ever wanted to change the heating system in the future, which that's one of the things on the list, you could convert that to hot water. So we're not throwing money away, essentially what I'm saying. So like I said, it would be take out the existing steam, put in 2 new ones. That way we have redundancy. That way you'll never lose a heating day or lose school because we don't have heat.
So you might want to just mention, what do you mean by redundancy? I know
You'd
what
have,
you mean, but.
you'd have 2 boilers.
So you always have one to fall back on,
Yeah,
basically?
and the way they set them up is they run lead lag. So you're always exercising one of the boilers. It's just not standing there idle. They exercise them, so
Okay.
they are running.
Like alternate, basically?
Basically, this one runs today, this one runs tomorrow.
Can we do, if we chose to just replace the boilers with 2, would we have to replace any of the other duct work or anything like that?
No, we would maintain that strictly to the boiler room. So that would be boilers, pumps, and any piping within the boiler room. We would create a demarcation line right at the boiler room wall. That stays, this would all be new. So that's item number 1, which I think is extremely important.
So that boiler cover the whole building? Because right now there 2 for different
It
parts.
covers basically up to the wall of the gym,
Okay.
or not the old school
3-story.
2-story building. That covers everything this way.
Okay.
What I would do, would we replace that boiler? I would size it to handle the remaining 2-story building. That way, when that one goes out, you just hook on to what we have. So, because that one down there is full of asbestos. So when that one goes away, to be more economical, I say you just abandon in place.
Just leave
This-
it and,
Walk away from it.
okay.
This one over here, I do believe everything in that boiler room has been abated a couple years, 5 years ago, maybe we abated all that. So
Does this one have the capacity to take care of both
right
if
now,
necessary? No?
unfortunately, it doesn't. So something to look at when you were to replace it with new, I would definitely look at it. Any other concerns or questions with the boilers?
Would we still have to hack it all out, blow that window, that door out, the wall out to get that first boiler out?
Possibly, I'd reach out to a contractor and see if they can cut it out. Sometimes they go in there and torch them and cut them. That's, when we get into design, that's something we would look at and ask those questions. There is a possibility, what she's talking about is the window that's on the west wall of the boiler room and the man door that's there. You might have to cut the wall out to get the boiler out. That's something we would dive into and determine as we got deeper into design. So
It's gotta come out
It
somehow.
was at least a discussion for
it
buildings and
was,
grounds.
it
So
was. It's a possibility. We just don't know.
we talked about all sorts of, we talked about the Cadillac version for a long time.
We did. So that is, in my mind, priority number 1. Because if we lose heat, we don't know how long it will take to repair that boiler, if it's even repairable in the future.
So just as a reference point, if you remember back when we were working on that burner that we put in, we just happened to schedule that around a day we already had off, so we only had to take 1 extra day off, which was the learning day. If something, heaven forbid, would happen to our old boiler, where we're out for an extended period of time, yes, it could be a learning day, but those aren't quite the same as in first time. So that would be an important aspect to get it done while you can.
And there's no inexpensive way to bring temporary heat to the building. You just can't bring a generator outside and hook it up and heat your building. It's just not.
What are the other components of a boiler like that could go? Like we lost the burner and have to replace that. Are there other
There's-
components like that?
Yeah, there's tubes on the inside of the boiler. When you open up the doors of the boiler, there's tubes that go around it. Those fail. Your pumps could fail.
The tubes fail?
The tubes fail
Those
inside the
things made
boiler.
out of like
They're just metal. They're about that round. And they fail. Steam boilers, that's a very corrosive environment in there, and it basically eats itself. Keep in mind, a steam boiler is a controlled explosion.
I mean, with the exception of the new one we put in, I'm assuming the others are probably original to the boiler.
Yeah.
And we've had it for how long?
I don't know that it's ever been retubed, or any other maintenance has been done to it, short of just repairs.
So I'm gonna cross my fingers that when Jeff fires it up in October, that it'll start. It normally does, there's normally no problems, but I mean, theoretically.
And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's where I'm at today, unfortunately. So, anything else on the boiler?
That was,
I don't.
it's off my head.
Feel free. I'll answer any questions you may have. Trust me. So with that, the next item I recommend, and this is mainly for future planning, but also to cover the boiler, is the electrical service to the building is not sized enough to handle any future electrical needs that you may have. So when we upgrade an electrical service, what that means is we contact the utility company. They bring more power to your building, essentially put a new main distribution panel in your boiler room, backfeed everything that's there. So the only thing that you're going to see new is what's in the boiler room. But that will give you any or all capacity for anything that you may happen in the future, aka air conditioning. Right now, I know you're tapped out on what you have here.
Just like putting a new box outside your house.
Correct. But the cost is basically the utility company bringing additional power from wherever that might be. We don't know how close that is.
I mean, long term, you're talking about how are utilities?
Yeah. But once we're inside that boiler room, when we place the new boilers, the new electrical panel, I would highly advise to do that all similar to the same time, so you can design the room properly. I always kind of have the motto of once we're in a space, I don't like to have to come back to that space.
What do we run now, like 600 amps?
I'd have to look. I don't know off the top of my head. But I don't know how, more than likely we need three-phase power. I don't think we have three-phase here.
Yeah.
And I don't know how close, I'm assuming Lukich's probably have three-phase over here. But we'd want to bring three-phase power.
What does that mean?
I was just gonna say, I don't even know.
It's just
that
a higher
number's written
voltage
it down.
core.
640 volts. instead of- Like normal house comes in at 240. It's supposed to be like 6, not 6.
Three-phase equipment is cheaper than other type of equipment. So the more power you have, the less cost it is for the equipment itself. It's more readily
You're on
available.
higher volts, but then run better amps. So it doesn't help.
So those are probably what I would recommend as your 2 top priorities. Am I in your seat?
You're fine. We'll pull up another chair for you.
So with that, kind of delves into some of the next items. Window replacement on the first floor, single-story wing was another item. All of your windows now at that wing are single pane glass with steel sashes, very similar to what you have here. Inefficient. It's in need to be upgraded. That will only help you in the long run with your energy efficiency at your building and your overall operational costs. I will be honest with you that to replace the windows in the building is a significant dollar value.
So like if I replace my windows at home, I get a tax break from the state. Do we get anything as a school? 'Cause we don't pay them taxes.
More than likely not.
They don't run any programs where they.
You can always look for energy efficiency grants.
ComEd,
Yeah, we can always look for grants to help.
So when we
offset
did
some
the
of those
gym
costs.
lights,
Yeah.
that's what he's talking, we got rebates that ComEd for that, it almost paid for the project.
Well, that rebates are different grants, but yeah.
Sometimes ISB will run a energy conservation grant. The last one they ran was 250 matching, so you put 250, they put 250. I don't know how often those are available. That's something we can ask the ROE.
Consider doing that in sections.
You very well could do that in sections. You could phase that approach. And do it as sections. You could do one, north, south, or pick a wing and start working back. So
Do you have questions on this?
Well, I'm thinking, because we had talked about not replacing every single window
it's very,
for like the bathrooms, right? Like
Right.
not having those. And so we talked about filling those in and
Yep.
then kind of siding it or doing something
You could
with
do
that, with the brown siding or something
there's
outside.
options not to do as much glass as you have now. Go more with glass and a wall assembly. That was something that I would study architecturally and present that to you guys and look at different options for aesthetics. It's possibilities, absolutely.
And then we talked about raising the windows back up to their original height, all the way up to the ceiling. And then maybe doing like 2 of those on each side and then kind of closing up
Yeah.
the middle of the wall so that teachers have extra working space.
And I always think of it from like a security standpoint, right? Because it's all windows.
So essentially, you could, flank your classroom on both sides and create another teaching wall in the center.
Mhm.
Well, when I think of lockdowns and stuff, we stay away from our windows. I don't know where these guys
Right,
hide.
that's what I mean, like,
I don't know where you guys hide
It's hard.
when you do lockdowns, because like that wouldn't work out for
Both
our.
sides are covered. All
And you
windows.
don't even cover the windows, like there's no shades here. So anyways,
that's where
There are
my
other
first-
options. I mean, a lot of schools,
thoughts about what I do at my kids' school.
a lot of schools I've been doing, they put in casements, out-swinging casement windows.
Okay.
Gives the occupants a way out in the event.
Yeah.
Something happens.
Mhm.
So there's options and things to look at, if that's something that you want to tackle. So the next 2 items kind of go hand in hand. We talked about the boiler, but after the boiler is all the mechanical piping, supply, return, and the units themselves. Just because we replaced the boiler, everything beyond that point is still existing. All the piping that's in the tunnel, will be existing and won't be replaced. That's something you guys are going to need to take a look at in the future. The condensate piping for the boilers was replaced within the last 10 years. At that time, you guys did not replace the supply pipe. The condensate piping had rusted out. That's all been replaced, but the supply piping and the units in the classrooms themselves are original.
The units, these, the registers.
You got fin tubes, and then you have unit ventilators and cabinet heaters, yeah. The heating devices within the room.
So all the piping underneath, when Chuck was still here, he was crawling underneath there with people, right? Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
so-
That's the stuff that was replaced?
All of your heating piping comes out of your boiler room and runs in your crawl space. Your entire building here, except for when we come over to this region, there's a tunnel here, but there's a crawl space on that whole west side. If you were to go down the path of replacing all that piping and all that heating equipment, we would not put it back in the basement or in the crawl space. I would bring it up and run it in your corridor. Anything that's in the crawl space is not maintained very well, just because inherently of where you have to go. So,
So you would see it or go above?
put it above the ceiling in the hallway.
So we'd have to.
So at that time, you
drop
put
ceiling.
new drop ceiling in the hallways.
So the new piping and then 5 would be all the new, for like the things in.
The new, we'll call them the heating elements in the space, unit ventilators, fin tube cabinets.
Pretty similar to what LP's got for their heating and ventilation in the building.
Yeah. That has a large,
We put those in the same beat too.
yeah, it has a large ticket to it. I mean, it's an expensive proposition.
Those units are quite costly.
Just there.
So what's a cheaper version? Is there a cheaper version?
There is not. There is not. At that time, remember if we return back to the boilers, when I said they were going to be a steam replacement with a convertible to hot water, that's when we would convert to hot water.
When we replace
when you replace all the piping and all the
piping
heating.
and stuff, okay.
What's involved in that, converting it?
There's just some changeovers. I think you have to change out the element in the boiler, and then just controls at that point. I mean, I can get a rep to get more technical, but
No, I just wanted to do it, I just wanted to know if
Yeah.
it was just like a big change, and
No, I
it
don't
sounded
think so.
like it was relatively easy.
no, it's, from what they're telling us, it's very, very simple. They've used them in other schools, and I can get some names if you want to talk to their maintenance staff or anything of that nature. So then the last one that would tally with that would be your gymnasium. Currently on the south wall of your gym, there's 2 large units that are run off the boiler. What I would recommend at that time is to change that out to like a rooftop unit, where we would set a rooftop unit on the south roof and then duct that in. At that time, it'd be most economical to put in a heating unit that's gas fired with air conditioning at that time.
Air conditioning
Just that
located
unit,
then on the roof.
that unit would be located on the roof.
And so
Then-
then just the gym would be air conditioned?
We'll get to the next one.
Sorry.
So then the next one would be air conditioning of the education spaces. There's a multitude of ways to air condition those spaces. We could use a rooftop unit with ductwork that pushes air into your building. You don't have the space between your ceiling and your structure to run ductwork. You know, if you take the ceiling tile out right here, right above that is the structure. As you go down your classrooms, obviously ceilings are lower.
Yeah.
Your hallways, there's just no place to run ductwork. It would be exposed, and as an architect, I wouldn't do that to you. Another option is you put in chilled water. Chilled water runs off just like your boiler or your hot water. Instead of having 2 pipes with a heating system where you have a supply and return, we run 4 pipes. You have 2 heating and 2 chilled water. That's expensive. It's a good system. I'm doing it right now at Ottawa Township High School. It's a really good system. It's just very expensive. The other option is what they call mini splits. Mini splits are those horizontal units that you put on the wall. I'm sure everybody has seen them.
Yeah.
They have a condensing unit that sits outside. They're usually about 18 inches wide, maybe 2 foot by 3 foot. I've done them at multiple schools. Grand Ridge has them. Rutland has them. Wallace has a couple of them. It's a way to air condition your building without going to that very expensive step. The downfall to them, you have a lot of units. You'll have 1 in each room. You also have a condensing unit for at least 1 room, possibly 1 unit for 2 rooms. Sometimes you can split the unit and run it to 2 rooms. That's an engineering side.
It depends on the size of the
It
room.
depends on the size of the room. Nice thing is, once that unit fails, you just get another unit,
Those are heat pumps, right?
essentially, yeah. They are.
Run one like 78,000 a piece. I know you didn't want to talk about cost. But what do they typically run like 78,000 a piece?
Pretty close. Doesn't include your electrical. That's the problem. Got to get electrical. But there's options to do that. Nice thing about that is you kind of use it as a building block. You can start air conditioning rooms and go as your finances allow you to go.
Would that cover like the cafeteria, like that unit?
I'd probably look at your cafeteria differently, kind of like your gym,
Sure.
because that has a different occupancy load, which when we have different occupants who have a different heat load,
Yeah.
it's hard to keep up. So. And I want to make sure everybody understands, this is a broad stroke. As you were to define into this and want to go down those paths, we would look at each space kind of individually.
Yeah.
And you'd probably have a multitude of systems. I don't know that I would do that in here.
Mhm.
Probably try to get you a rooftop unit. You're going to get, it's going to obviously heat and cool much better. So,
I mean, those two, with the leadership there, can do a good job there.
they do, don't they? Go ahead.
I'm trying to wrap my brain around all this. We would, no matter what, have to do the new piping though, and the new heating elements because of the heat. The air conditioning is completely separate. We would
Completely
never be able to do heat and air conditioning in the same.
You could, but it would just be extremely expensive. Financially and economically, there's cheaper ways to do it.
Because we need heat more than we need cold air
And
for a school, right?
I would definitely push you into the fact that there's more heating days in an educational year than there are air conditioning days. You air condition September, part of October, maybe May. Other than that, we run the heat. So I think we need to button up the heating side of things as a top priority. As much as we would all love air, especially on a day like today. Got to find a way to afford that. So like I said before, I think your boiler and your electrical service are probably your two top items that you need to look at.
Because can we even consider doing like the air conditioner units without doing the electrical?
There's not enough
Right.
power here at the building to do
So we
that.
can't, okay.
And we have to do windows first because we don't want to cool anything. We don't really heat anything if we don't have good
I
windows
think
to
windows-
keep heat.
I agree those top two, but I feel like Windows is right there with it because
What are you
in the winter, we just blow heat out the windows.
So here's the other thing I want everybody to be cognizant of. If we air condition a space that has these types of windows in it, and you bring in an air conditioning unit that's going to properly cool the space, we all know what's gonna happen to that window. It's gonna look like a soda can.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but the order in which you just presented these is sort of an order of priority of like stacking one upon the other.
Correct.
What did you say about a soda can?
It'll condensate. You're gonna have condensation on the inside of your windows.
They can't shoot into the building.
So, and here's what happens when we have condensation inside of the building. There's nowhere for that water to go. So then it gets into wood fiber material. I didn't say that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do AC in this field with this. There's no reason.
See, the other thing is if we know we're doing windows, we can size the mechanical accordingly. Because right now, if we size all the mechanical equipment based on your wall envelope, the equipment's gonna be
Sure.
too large. So there is value in doing things at a certain steps.
What's your thoughts on focusing on boiler replacement and electrical and then moving away, like down that way with the windows? Like away from it, or would you come towards it with the windows?
You mean where to
Does it
start?
matter, yeah.
I would start close to the main office and then go that way.
Now, would you start removing windows and covering those up before you start replacing windows, or do you do it all at the same
It's all
time?
at the same time.
It seems like, wouldn't we want to do the windows where the kids are
Yes.
first? And
Well, I'm just wondering if you protect the boiler unit by doing those windows closest to it, if that's a thing or not, I have no
Which that would
idea.
be like the new junior high rooms. Is that what you mean?
That's what I'm wondering.
Like close.
We're talking about, sounds like we would look at doing something like these things in different phases. If we're talking
That's
about
how I would
the
recommend.
boiler and the electrical upgrade, that might be one phase. There might be a period of years between that phase and the next phase, because all of this together has a really big price tag.
That was my next
And,
question, like how
we have
many
to-
years?
I know it really does all come down to money, I hate to say that, but what can we afford off of
Is our bond
What's
paid
the
off in
difference?
December?
December of '26?
Do you remember how much that was?
274,000, I believe.
That's what's left of those.
Yeah, that's what the original bond was.
I'm featured out of this, so.
All right.
Yeah, of course I'm going.
Where's your room?
I'm the 600, so I gave you the air conditioning next year.
A lot larger, yeah.
Million, a million, at least,
Yeah.
probably.
We're gonna keep it, right?
Next summer.
And the other thing is, you know, we do have some fund balance that we could use for some of these projects, but what I would warn the board is that I don't think you want to erode those fund balances down too awfully far. You want to maintain some fund balance to offset some of the risk that might be out there. We don't know what that is.
I'm wondering if we'd have to look into it, with bond out for the top two and pay for the window replacements slowly.
It's hard for me to feel like I can commit to a particular scenario unless there's money on it. Because I know even ballpark, what we're looking at for boiler and for electrical upgrades and things like that. I mean, those seem like really important things to me, but I'm worried about getting ourselves up to our neck in debt when we've got other things we'd love to be, improving across the district. So
It's probably something we want to take to the survey.
I mean, I think Matt makes a good point in that the priority, we have an aging boiler. I think that's probably got to be our first priority, because regardless of, we have to heat the building. It's a minimum.
Even if we decided today, it'd probably be a year before we even get started.
So let's talk about that a little bit. So if you were to do a boiler and the electrical at the same time, which I highly recommend, your electrical service is going to take 12 months just to get the material. So that's 2 years out. So if you were to release me to say, okay, Matt, go ahead and design the boilers and the electrical system, we'd start that hypothetically in the fall. You'd bid that out at Christmas. Contractor's going to get his stuff approved in the spring. He's going to order. His stuff will not arrive until the following spring. It's for a summer install.
Summer of 27.
Summer 27. I just had this happen at LaSalle Elementary, and they had to spend an extra $40,000 for the temporary fixing until the panel got here.
that is boiler and electric.
All right, so if we gave you the marching orders for the fall, then it would take us the 2 years
2 years.
to be able to get the boiler in and the electrical in, and then it would be done.
Yep.
The electrical, sorry. So you said the electrical is necessary if we wanted additional future load. Is the electrical necessary for us to run this redundant dual boiler system? It's not, is it?
I can't answer that right now without the engineers running calcs on what you have.
Well, but maybe we had thought that the electrical work was because we were talking about central air. Is that what we mean?
Right, so it sounded to me like the electrical is sort of assuming that we're gonna wanna build
Right.
some on top of our existing like
This kind of
electrical
sets the
load.
stage for what
Right,
happens in the
and
future.
that's, I think, that's a really important question.
But we would-
We haven't committed to anything like that.
So you're questioning if we would want
Like, plan for it potentially without actually putting it in right away, because if we're gonna redesign the room, we want to plan for it at the very least.
Yeah, just need to have like some sort of beyond the next couple of years kind of.
That's all that new stuff that's in there too, that we just got redone, right?
There's a new box in there or something.
Yeah. We wouldn't be able to use that. I think you said that was gonna be trash.
So if we started planning for summer of 2027 for those two, what do you think the timeline is on starting window replacement? And do you think window replacement in stages is usually affordable by a school district?
It is, yeah. I do it all the time.
Like would we catch up to 2027, or would we still have a long time frame for windows?
Probably have a couple years for windows. Keep in mind, all your windows are probably gonna have to be asbestos abated.
And we can't do any windows in the year that we're waiting for any
You
electrical.
can.
Like, is that an option?
Oh, absolutely.
That's what I'm wondering, if we start that while we're doing that,
So that'll come out of our fund balances.
yes, or
Well, I mean,
Right.
windows, maybe I'm wrong there, but those are big ticket items. We don't have the fund balance to pay up. Out of fund balance. That would be a bond issue. We'd have to talk to bonding agents and I'll find out what our bonding capacity is. And go that route. It would be a big ticket item.
The windows.
Get barrier to get.
I think,
Right,
like,
but I think you're trying to, I know you're trying to make it like realistic, but also I think you're trying to kind of scare us with that too at the same
I'm
time.
not trying to scare you, I'm just telling you it's real, that consider that this is a big ticket, a lot to take on.
How old are our windows?
Building.
Buildings from the sixties. I said it before, the windows have to get done at some point. The longer we
Windows are
wait, the more
75 years
expensive they're gonna be.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
they need
here's the
that,
thing
you
is-
wouldn't have your house with single pane windows like this and expect to come out ahead.
Correct.
At some point, we're gonna have to do it if we're gonna keep this building.
I think we figure out our bond and our cash issues, or like, not issues, but our situation first.
So then we at least need to meet with the bonding agent to even figure out what
Yeah.
our possibilities
So
are.
after we find a path, which what we're doing, at some point we will sit down with the bonding agent and then, he'll take a look at all of our finances and give us an idea of what our capacity is and have a rough estimate as to what we can do forward.
So-
Sorry.
I think the best thing for me to do at this point is to get tighter numbers on your boiler replacement. What that number is, what your electrical service upgrade would be, and your window replacement.
I agree.
Those three items, and then you guys can make an educated decision on what you want to do at home. And answer the question, do you have enough power to run 2 boilers? I don't know.
yeah, I think I would like to know that because I guess we can, if there are possibilities for creative ways forward, I could almost imagine if you could run those boilers with the existing electrical, good boilers, we do the windows in phases, we tighten up the whole building like a drum, and we start thinking creatively about cooling instead of, giant air conditioning solutions. We think more in terms of moving air through the building. We think in terms of mini splits and stuff like that, so that maybe we don't have that additional load and we're more efficient.
Well, we talked about those big house fans, like the big,
Big ass fans.
well, not that, but
That's called-
like
that's
a
what
whole
numbers
house
mean.
fan or something.
Can't
We
use-
had-
can't use whole
Can we
house.
use something like that in the school?
They're against the fire code, you can't do it.
Are there, I don't know how to ask this question. Are there schools or other institutions with buildings of this size that move air? So the principles behind a whole house fan are sort of like you're moving the cool air in, you're moving the hot air out in order to maintain, we just.
Building codes don't allow you to do that.
Building codes don't allow it?
No, because if there's a fire, then you're moving smoke. So there's draft stops everywhere.
Gotcha.
So then we're gonna have to put in fire curtains and smoke shutters to stop the air from going.
Well, I guess that answers that question.
It's a great idea, don't get me wrong, but just, the building code won't allow it.
Okay, so can we go back to the boiler replacement for just 1 second? If we are gonna do the steam boiler and that could be converted to hot water, if we were never going to do the whole school air conditioning and we were gonna think something else sometime, is there a cheaper version of the boiler without without it being then at some point converted to the hot water? Am I making sense?
You are, but I don't think I would not recommend that.
I just didn't know if there was something, like if we were getting a better version of the boiler
No, I
to do
you
that.
don't wanna handcuff yourself to steam. Always give you the option to go to hot water. Because you might be talking $20,000 on a very large project, it wouldn't be money well spent.
Yeah.
Other questions?
You guys think?
The brain kind of hurts a little.
I would love for him to get us numbers for the boiler, electrical, and windows, and be mindful that we don't want to replace all of our windows.
We had window numbers last year, but was that the whole building or was that just that?
I think it was even the,
The latest number I gave you was from the 2-story this spring.
Could I ask how, when we get those numbers on the windows, what are they gonna look like? Are we looking at square footage numbers? Are we looking at per
Pain.
pane replacement, like how is that, what's that gonna look like?
I'll give you a budget number to replace all the windows in the building from a 2-story this way.
So it'll just be one whole, all or nothing?
Because the cost to put in a window, an aluminum window system versus a wall system, there's really no difference in cost.
I don't know, what's the,
So you put a wall in the middle.
So if I put a wall in the middle,
windows,
yeah,
gonna be
it's gonna be the
same
same cost. There's really no cost savings there. It's more of aesthetics and functionality of the space.
So however we decide to do it, it's gonna be similar.
It's gonna be
cost.
similar, yeah.
Oh,
For
I
the
see.
budgeting purposes, you won't see it at this point.
So then down the road, you would go into more of like
A detailed
aesthetics
estimate, yeah.
and Casement versus.
Once you study that and see how that wants to feel aesthetically, that's when you hone down the estimate.
Will you show us pictures down the line?
We can
What-
do a 3D model if you'd like. Be more than happy to do that. But in my line of work, you start very raw and then we hone it down and then
Sure.
the numbers hone down accordingly.
that makes sense.
It takes a while to hone those down. It takes months to get the design down, and you got to study a lot of things to get it down to that point. So at this point, the numbers I gave you for the windows will be fairly close to what they were today. Or what they are today.
I don't know if we would wanna include the top floor, would we?
No, everything I had was basically
Here
from
over?
here over.
Okay.
We kind of left that.
I think we're considering like, if we do anything, that'd be grant money or something like that.
That's what I would do.
So it sounds like next steps will be, when you come back, Matt, will be some better numbers on the boiler.
Yes.
As well as the electrical upgrade.
And the windows.
And then, we'll have him come back to the next working session, probably in August, I think, if you're available.
Is that enough time?
I think it's the 21st, I believe.
We'll see. It might be September.
What's that?
It might be September.
Okay.
A lot of schools opening up right now.
That gives us time to get some public.
I would float it out there.
Yeah.
And see what the priority are for the citizens and people in school. Definitely.
Thank you.
No problem.
Can I ask you a semi-related question?
Absolutely.
You put solar panels on anybody's roof yet? Is it worth it? Unless you get it paid for by somebody. It's kind of what I figured.
So the issue that we're running into with those is they have a 20-year lifespan. But when they sign a contract for them, they're yours. So then in 20 years, you have to dispose of them. What are they in 20 years? The hazardous material. And then the batteries and all, that's what everybody's running into. There was a huge, I think the city of LaSalle had them come through. I know Wallace looked at it, and I know LaSalle Elementary looked at it. I don't think it got off center, and I think those are some of the stipulations.
Yeah, them and Dota did it, and then when I go to work, Germantown Hills has it on theirs now. Just always weird. Mendota tossed it up, but I'm pretty sure they got it all paid for by something.
You can get it paid for?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I wouldn't pay out of pocket for it.
And you have to replace the roof before you put them in, probably, I assume.
I would. Your gym is your best place to put them, but if you were to do it. Have you guys been approached by anybody?
Nah, not really. Nobody's came here. I get emails all the time from sales.
Nobody's actually presented to the board.
Appreciate your time, Matt. If there's
Yeah,
no
thank
other
you very much.
questions,
No problem.
Let Matt go. Like I said, you're free to stay if you'd like to, but, I don't want to.
That's kind of good, man.
Well, you know.
And then what will happen is it'll turn into a word cloud. And the more a word is repeated, the bigger the word will show up on the word cloud.
What's wrong?
TGS mission?
She said it was this, and then he's the website for
Yeah, like a 406.
You get that?
it's from,
I'll convert it back.
July 20th.
Or you can go to menti.com.
She shared it on July 20th with us in an email.
I shared it with you, I'm not sure.
Oh.
Anybody wants to try it out, you can see the fun words pop up. But I can keep it open for like 2 weeks. Put it on Facebook, just like share it out with the school community, the larger community, see what kind of feedback we get. And I figured the words that end up being the largest are, then we can start looking at, okay, this is what's important to us, and then we can start developing the mission statement from there. Oh, look at there. When there's more come in, just a cool way to get. Cool. Cool. So it comes up.
I might be using this in my classroom, actually.
Have you used Mentimeter before?
I've not.
Oh, there's all different kinds of, there's word clouds, there's very cool, you can do like quizzes, it's a real nice way to do like do nows, unlearn, but yeah, it's a great tool for
Just
users.
leave that.
Are you sure?
There's somewhat the links, there's 2 links there, but I put a new link in the comments for whoever's trying to watch it. I'm just texting you.
It is 5:45.
It's perfect.
Now I have a call to order.
But
Isn't it roll call? Let me do pledge of allegiance first before roll call.
What do you do, call to order, roll call?
May I call to order at 5:45, July 23rd, 2025.
So moved.
And roll call.
Okay. Laughlin.
Yeah.
Bernadoni.
Yes.
Conrad.
Yes.
Riddick.
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Gantz. Yes. Zimmer.
Yes.
Ketchup.
I
Yes.
used to do that all the
Val.
time.
Did they answer your call?
Yeah, I didn't answer, so I was
Pledge allegiance to the
flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Looks like we don't have anybody from the public
We
today.
have some correspondence.
Okay, what you got?
This, on behalf of my family, we appreciate the flowers that you guys sent for Dan's funeral. And just really appreciate all the support that over the last couple of years. We're gonna get a little card from, look at if you can.
It looks like he was just as tall as you, Bob.
No, he was a little bitty guy.
Was he really?
Yeah, little bitty guy.
We're very sorry for your family's loss. Okay. Got the agenda. You said you've added an additional bill.
Yeah, so just a point of order that there's 2 additions to the agenda, including one additional bill regarding the iReady purchase order and the CD renewal that's coming up in August.
Sounds like he's still giving us a pretty good rate in terms.
Either 4.0 or 3.5.
Any questions on the agenda? Anybody? Can I have a motion to approve it?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Yep. McLaughlin. Yes. Bernadone.
Yes.
Conzak.
Yes.
Burdick.
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Gans, yes. Zimmer.
Yes.
Consent agenda, that's got a lot of stuff in there. What do you got? Special meeting minutes, executive session, finance committee, do you guys want to talk about that, or we can talk about it later?
I included a copy of a presentation that I went through with the finance committee and the notes there. But I appreciate Matt and his time and their input on the discussion. Let them chime in and look at the committees.
Okay, perfect. And then we'll talk about insurance and buildings and grounds then too. Any questions on the bills or the treasurer's report?
So our buddy Owen Wang is back. You have a FOIA request. Remember, a year ago, we got a slew of Owen Wang FOIA requests, not just us, pretty much everybody around us did
Is
too.
Illinois Valley Times even a thing?
It's a website.
Is it?
That's an odd FOIA. You could have just called.
Well, didn't we think it was AI?
It's like it's AI generated, because I mean, none of my colleagues have been able to get a hold of Owen Wang. So I suspect it's probably AI generated. It's not that wasn't that hard requested. Just the tip of the iceberg. There'll be more from that.
I did ask on the bills just to slide over a little bit so we could see more detail, I believe. But I'm just glad
Yep.
the treasurer's report straight up and down. Can I have a motion to approve it, or do we have questions?
Motion.
I'll second.
All right. Bernadone.
Yeah.
Conzak.
Yes.
Burdick.
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Gans, yes. Zimmer.
Yes.
McLaughlin. Yes.
Financial reports, Bob?
So the financial report for the 25-26 budget is currently under construction. So once we have that put together, we'll put in the teacheries and we'll put the state form together, file it like it's supposed to be filed, and have the hearing and process that we want to go through, but it's just not ready yet.
Moving on to Ms. Malcolm. Mrs. Malcolm.
Hello. Hang on, sorry, I've got lots and lots of tabs open. Okay, so important upcoming dates. We have summer school going on right now. Kiddos entered the building on Monday. I got to read to them a couple days this week, so that was really, really fun. Amy, Greta, and Marina are the teaching and the para helping out with that. Tomorrow is in-person school registration. Bus sign-up will be available on this day. It's from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Everything looks ready to go for families to sign up and get kiddos back to school. And then if parents don't want to come to in-person registration or don't have availability, there is the online option, which is July 31st as well as August 1st, and that's through the Teacher Ease Parent Portal. And then August 13th and 14th are Teachers Institute and pack the backpack rather than unpack the backpack, which I will be giving details momentarily. And then August 15th, first day of school with 1:30 dismissal, and then 1:30 dismissal is August 18th to the 22nd, as well as the 25th to the 29th. Campus updates, classrooms are looking really good. The waxing of the floors should be all completed by next week. I know they're going to be waxing the hallway out here and up to in front of the main office on Friday. So I need to send a notification out on that if anybody wants to come in. That's going to be a little difficult to walk on the floors. Then I know buildings and grounds, there was a meeting held on July 18th, and we identified some needs. And then we have new math curriculum, and I have Pro-D scheduled for that for the first day of Teachers Institute, and am working on just about have digital access. I have made progress today, so yay. All right, so as far as campus safety goes, I do now have access to all of the key fob accounts. So I've been able to go through the random key fobs that I found that were just kind of sitting, and now ensuring that they're deactivated and or assigned to current staff. So that's a work in progress, as well as the keys. There were a lot of keys found, and so just going through all of that, trying to get those organized and making sure that they're all accounted for, especially like master keys and things like that. And I just have to say thanks to Sarah and Julie and then Mary Kay Kaiser, you guys have been helping, just try to decipher through all of that. Cameras. So when I was speaking with Randy Little from Midwest Integrated Solutions, he had mentioned that one of our servers was down. So he walked me through how to check that, how to turn it back on. It powered right up, so we don't know why it was down.
Do we get a notification, you know?
I don't. I know. So that's just one of those things now that I'm just periodically checking, just to make sure the light on, everything is good. So the thing though, when we went through, right now, all of the cameras that we have, they don't have specific names. It's just camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, so on and so forth. So he talked to me through how to rename all of them. So I'm gonna get with Jeff and Mark, and we're just gonna start going, okay, let's call this one main entrance north or whatever, just so it's easier to identify when we do have to go and look. We can just boom, rather than go like camera 10 is, I don't know. So one question that I had is, does anybody know off the top of their head if there was ever like a campus safety committee or handbook that was ever created? Not emergency protocols, this is just like campus safety. Does anybody know?
Not that we have seen.
Okay, all right. So I think that that would be a really good thing to kind of put on the, you know, done all about campus safety, I want to make sure our kids are safe.
Do
Our
we
staff are safe.
know about when staff left? Did they turn in their keys on the last day?
And then also with campus safety goes along with CPR training, and AED training. So I put ED, but it's AED training. So that's going to be scheduled and hopefully held. I think in the first week of September, I'd like to do like a safety for the kids and staff where we actually do our fire drill, tornado drills, like all the things kind of encompass, and we do like nice educational thing for the kids. So that'd be cool. All right, projected enrollment, you see our numbers, and then, you know, we should have a better idea once enrollment is done. And then Teachers Institute, as I mentioned, so do we provide breakfast and lunch on both days? Do you guys know if
I
that's?
think it was both days, but I think we did at least the first day. At least one. No breakfast, I think lunch was split.
Okay. So is there a budget for that then?
You and I can.
Okay. Okay, cool. Pulse check feedback and one-on-one interviews. So I gave the staff an opportunity to fill out an anonymous survey, and so, you know, I've been getting information back from them. That was launched on my first day, July 1st, and then results of the survey will be shared during the board meeting and on the first day of Teachers Institute in August. And then I have been conducting one-on-one interviews, and those began on July 10th and are ongoing. And so just getting to know people, just like their families, like what's going on, and then, you know, some challenges that they've seen, some of the things that they love about the school, just really trying to build rapport. So it's been very enjoyable to meet with people, get to know them. So I like that. Okay, so these are amazing highlights. I have to say, like, I think we need to call them distributor and get them here. I do, this is huge. So the PTC has been able to get all of the school supplies donated to our students. The only thing that our parents have to worry about are backpacks, lunchboxes, PE shoes, and PE uniforms if they're in middle school. This is incredible. I've never seen this ever. So it historically was always called unpack the backpack because kids would come and unpack their backpacks. But this time we're actually going to have pack the backpack because they're going to get to shop in the gym for their stuff. Because we're going to have it all organized by grade levels and grade bands. So this is huge. I like kudos to the PTC for all of this work. And they got pizzas donated. So there's gonna be pizza, there's gonna be, we're gonna have some hot dogs, lemonade, it's just, and the foam party. So what a great way to launch back to school. Isn't that amazing? Yay to the PTC, that's.
I want to echo just how awesome that is.
It's incredible.
I got a notification from a colleague at IDCC who noticed that our program director for early childhood education had reposted that on her own personal Facebook account because she thought it was so cool. So like it's getting circulation in the area. It's just, I was so happy to see that.
You know, good
It's
things,
such a
good
huge deal
things.
for our
It's amazing.
students.
So, and then I met with them, I think I met with them for like an hour and a half, last week or the week prior, and, you know, there's many activities planned, there's lots of really cool things that we're gonna be doing. And, oh, my office is getting a facelift, so thank you, that's all I have to say. It's been a bear, but, we painted on July 12th, so thanks to, oh my gosh, Jared for helping, and Julie, and Sarah, and Jen, and Mary Kay, and Mr. Jeff, and DJ's Carpets come tomorrow to replace the floor, thank God. So the new flooring is coming in tomorrow, and eventually we're gonna put the office back together. I had July 25th, but then I forgot my husband's taking me away on a little mini vacation, and he would probably kill me if I didn't go. So anyway, and then Mark started back on Monday, and my monthly newsletter started in July. I do have the August one. My plan is to launch it every first of the month. Got really great feedback on the newsletter, so that was good. And then today, I was actually interviewed by Wells 102, and that will be aired on Monday at 3 p.m. And that's all I got.
So you think they're gonna do a safety committee or something? Because I think hearing the stuff about the keys and the fobs, it doesn't sound like we have a great process. I think just getting something documented somewhere to share, and that way, especially for like people who have keys or fobs, that they understand the responsibility that they're given, right? Like something that they have to sign that says, when I have this fob, I can't just do what I want, right? Make
Give it to my neighbor.
Yeah.
Is everyone given a key and a fob? Like at my bank, the only one who has both, there's only two of us that have both.
Yes, they have to have a key for the classroom doors and a fob to get in.
But that's two separate, right?
But there's like building keys, right? If the fob goes out.
That's correct.
Yeah, there's only a few of those.
There's
There's like you and Bob and
The
Blake.
master key's only.
Yeah.
Do you know what our enrollment numbers are for 6th and 7th grade? I noticed there's no numbers there.
Just 30.
It just says 30 for junior high.
So I don't have it.
Oh. Done. Okay, so it's 30 combined between 6th and 7th.
Correct.
So,
Yeah, I think in the backpack night, I think it'll be fun. Like, I think if there's something, well, I'll talk about the electronic professors. Maybe there's something we can do for that too. We can bring popsicles or something for them too. I don't know, something as a board.
Yeah, do you know when the backpack night is? We should probably-
14.
14.
It's 14, yes.
Yeah, Ricky said something to me about if somebody wanted to help hand out stuff too.
Okay.
What time's it start on the 14th?
5:30, it used to be 6, but we're gonna open it up a little bit early because of the food that we have. And then at 6 o'clock, we'll call everybody into the gym. I'll do a little presentation, and then they can go to their respective classrooms and then go play in the pool. I heard it's really fun.
It is a great time.
Every year.
We all soaking wet.
I love it. How fun though. We need it. I do. I do think it's for
Yeah, there's like a dollar limit where they'll come, but I'm sure that we probably could with this. I don't know what they raise.
Definitely take pictures for our Facebook though.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a dollar, like they'll come for it. We raised a certain amount of money. Supposedly. I mean, you can get them and kind of talk to them sometimes. But for the paper.
Sometimes it depends on what else is
I
going
think it
on.
would be good to have
Oh, I
an
agree.
article about.
Yeah, we should.
It would just be great to have, to show this amazing entity. It's amazing.
Yeah, somebody should reach out.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
Good. Next.
Tricia, you're up.
Okay, well, it's been a fast and furious 3 weeks for me. But we have found head coaches for baseball and softball as well as assistant coaches. The Fred Keitzer stepped forward and Alex was the assistant for boys last year. And then Lexi Berta stepped forward for the head coach for softball. She's played ball forever, her dad's an umpire. She knows the game, I'm confident in that. And then Jennifer Murrow, her assistant. I set out and with the help of Tracy and Courtney, an interest survey just to see what our numbers look like. And it looks like we're right at about 10 players per team. They're gonna be young teams, so I'm not expecting state championships, but I did talk to Brad because there was a concern on the boys' side. And he and I are on the same page. We have to give them a foundation at some point. Even if you're facing 7th and 8th graders, you still have to, get out there and give it our best shot. The other thing is, I was starting to panic because I had made a lot of calls about baseball and softball. And I'm thinking, how am I going to fill the rest of these spots? And they just started crawling out of the wood. So we're going to have to interview, and we're hoping to do that within the next 3 or 4 weeks to hire. And we have some more coming back, like cheerleading, scholastic role, because we're going to stand behind that. If you coached for us last year, the position will be yours if you want it again.
Trish and I loosely talked about having those coaches for the winter sports, having their ready and approved by our office meeting in September, a couple of weeks out, so we can get ahead of it a little bit.
Play basketball and cheerleading, right?
I'm sorry.
Basketball and cheerleading, you mean?
Nice.
I struggle with winter.
Volleyball.
Basketball, volleyball.
Everybody wants to coach on.
Can they start practicing this coming Monday, the 28th?
Yes.
And when's their first game? Softball? We know.
I don't have that. Sorry.
Did you get with Ray on the field or not yet?
Not yet. And I did ask around about who takes care of the field for the girls. I just haven't called Eric yet. I didn't get any response.
So both fields back there? Do they both play here?
This is baseball, softball plays on the city.
So
game.
right. Playing.
This one was pretty weedy the other day.
Ray said if we get in, it clear out.
They just sprayed this morning for the ground wasp. So, yeah.
They sprayed twice this year, so we were waiting to get rid of those, I think. The ground wasp, I think.
They sprayed this morning.
Bob said they sprayed again,
Okay.
so hopefully they got rid of the rest of them.
It's ready to play on. They come out and practice. Play now.
Those wasps have been there since my boy played baseball, so it's not gonna be an easy task to get rid of.
Like fill the hole with something or?
Well,
Grandpa for gas now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Probably.
So now that I have the, thank you so much. Thank you for all your work, really appreciate it. As we're getting, as now I have the schedules, if you guys go on the website, under calendars, I have the community calendar that I've created, that is a live Google calendar. I've been updating it, so I've already put down when all the sports pictures are taking place. So I will start adding in, or have somebody help me do this, and that's a lot, into that, so it's on a community calendar and it's updated regularly.
So let me know when the games are.
All the games,
In one spot.
all in one spot. Love it. I'm all about streamlining process.
We did mention, but Tricia was even concerned about Marquette, so we were gonna talk to them and see about, since the kids are so young, how we could obviously
I suspect there probably would be more than Marquette, but those are the ones we talked about. I'll give you a hard time, let me know.
Okay.
Normally, it's been my experience in schools, they're pretty good at work with on that kind of thing. It doesn't sound like Marquette falls in that category, which is unfortunate. And I kind of advise Trish, if that's the case, then at the next conference meeting, we can bring that up and discuss.
Well, it's usually in some big kids too. It's all the farm communities, they all raise people.
Actually, there's a.
Thank you. Is there anything we can do for you?
I think I'm okay right now.
Thank you, Tricia.
Thank you, Trish.
Yep.
Thank you.
Committees, who wants to go first?
You don't have to stay if you don't want to, we're boring you. I wouldn't blame you if you left.
We do insurance committee first, that one.
So, yeah, insurance committee, we met on, gosh, don't want to tell us on the date.
Beginning of the month.
Yeah, earlier this month, I think it was.
Thank you again.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Tricia.
Thank you, Tricia. Joe Roberts was at our meeting. He's our broker. It was a very short meeting because we already kind of knew the answers ahead of time. The renewal is a 7% increase. A year ago, it was 20% increase. So I think you're going to see that up and down for as long as we were in a single insured environment. But the numbers are good. The union was happy with numbers that with the renewal. I included a link to the renewal as well. If you want below, we'll vote on that a little bit later. Anything else you guys want to?
What are the dates for you board members? Like, some of us may come and go, but one of the things you gotta remember, part of this insurance is part of their contract negotiation. So everybody keep that in mind as the future progresses. They have a really good plan, and obviously they're gonna want to keep it as long as possible. Good for them.
I mean, the plan is specific to us. I mean, there is no school that gets the same kind of, I guess, for lack of a better term, perks as we do in that plan. So
It's very good.
anything that we vary from, we won't be able to come back into that plan. That makes sense?
What was the insurance guy's name? I always forget.
Joe Roberts.
Joe, one thing he said is that this plan is, you're essentially at the mercy of, is it United?
Of the market.
I mean, as long, they'll continue to offer this just for us, as long as they feel like it.
Right.
And at some point, we're just gonna take it away and we're gonna have to
I
start
think it
shopping.
keeps, and Joe kind of referenced this in the talk, is we've had a pretty good history of claims. We were pretty low risk in the grand scheme of things.
Is it based on age? So having the younger,
Just age.
Right.
just age, having younger
Helps.
helps. And
Yeah.
if I were you guys, I'd use it on your, when you're advertising for new staff members, excellent health
Yeah.
insurance.
Well, like I said, we have hired young people, so it's a like, we won't see that realization until a year from now. But
Hopefully they'll keep it down.
I was on the insurance committee like when I first started and they still had that deductible that was super low and Joe was saying it back then. He's like, I don't know how much longer it's gonna last.
Right.
Prescriptions.
Yeah. And that was a big thing for the teaching, was the prescriptions.
Finance, do you guys wanna talk?
I mean, it was a pretty good meeting. We talked about just our fund balances and different things like that. Talked a little bit about the transportation cost. Obviously that's the big spender here really for us. Talked about some options to look at moving forward in regards to transportation and how to save some of our costs there. Obviously, Bob's done a great job and the board's done a good job of being good stewards of our fiscal responsibility here. And so, obviously we want to continue to have that happen, especially with the uncertainty with funding coming from the federal level moving forward.
Do we know how much we might not get?
Bob, give us some rough numbers.
I don't have that with me, but we're not gonna get funding for Title II, which basically for the staff, somebody wants to go to a conference or something, teacher-wise, normally that money helps pay for that. It's not to say they can't go, but it's district money that will pay for it versus grant money. Title IV, that is like pre-K and we won't be getting that either. There's still some, the state is still haggling things, for lack of a better term, with the feds on the grant money. So we'll kind of see how that goes. But I wanted to expand something on transportation that you brought up was we have, I talked with Lawson, I think we're going to be able to work this out to where our students that are out of district, well, 2 of our students that are out of district that go to SOAR, will be able to tag on with Lawson in their van. So that would cut a little bit of cost down the road. We still have a student at Hammond, and that student will be there. I think we'll have another year of that student. You know where Hammond's at, all the way in Bloomington. It's a pretty long trip from there to Bloomington. So that one we'll still have, but at least we'll be able to cut some costs a little bit with tagging on with Boston.
Yeah, it's all possible. We don't want to cut field trips, we'd rather save in that aspect.
Yeah, we made that very clear. So.
Did they take a whole, they don't take a big bus down there, do they? They take like a little bus?
It's just
for just one kid?
They
Like a van or
say
something?
take a van. Their districts, their students that are out of district, like they've got a couple of SOAR, they've got one.
No, I meant for Hampton.
Oh, Hammond. They do take a bus, yes.
There's more than just that one kid. Okay, so we just pay for like a seat on the bus. That's, I was hoping they weren't taking like a whole bus just
That would
for
be a
us.
waste, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything more you want to see out of that the next time you meet, or?
Well, what I was going to also tag on is that I mentioned this to next time we meet, which will be very soon. I'm near the end of working with the state on doing some financial forecasting. That was one of the things that was in the strategic plan. One of the things that was when I initially came on the board wanted to see. And so I'm very near the end of that, and we'll meet again, and that would be specifically what we're doing.
I did take the TIF paperwork that day. It wasn't overly useful because it was mostly old stuff. Like it was mostly from the previous TIF. And then they had like the new agreement, which we already seen. There really wasn't a lot new in there. So I think next I'll reach out to the village and see. Like, it's about, they have a meeting, I guess, every spring with the report. If there was nothing, like the latest report was in 2018, so I want to see if I can get a few reports because it should have some
Would
stuff.
that be Jessica?
They should have like that report that we can get at that meeting. Tonica meeting happening at the same time.
Yeah. Well,
They
yeah,
should have a copy.
yeah, because there wasn't one in there for the last like 7 years.
And then maybe we can get further,
Yeah, we'll have to just double check with Wallets, but I'm gonna see what they've got available.
that kind of piggybacks on Jared and mine. Is that in this section? Not
That's
yet,
the
never
next
mind.
section I was there, so.
What other committees?
You want to talk first, you want me to?
Go ahead.
All right, so we spent several minutes talking about Matt Lambs, and obviously he's now coming, so we don't have to talk about that anymore. Because we talked about prioritizing a bunch of stuff. We talked about how there's LED lights now surrounding the outside, and I've come by several different times.
great.
Just to kind of see them, and they look very nice, so I think that that's great. And then we talked about how we're gonna get a kickback maybe from ComEd because of those lights, yes? The only thing that I am seeing is that, like, I thought that we had a light shining up on the flag, and I do not see it at
Right
night.
here.
Yeah, up front. I know you do. Either that or it's gonna have to get taken down every day.
Like what used to do.
So I think we either need to,
So we
like,
need a light on the flag, that's
we need a
okay.
light on the flag. That's the first thing I saw. We talked about a pine tree that got hit by
My
lightning.
last storm came through yesterday, there were, stewards was here and took the pine tree down. It was honestly amazing, because that tree is probably 75 to 80 foot tall, and the lightning was about halfway up, stripped the bark, it was probably, that bark was about that thick, all the way down to the base of the tree.
I think I heard that one strike.
The guy that's in the house adjacent to that tree was in his garage or something, and he got some of the bark.
Wow,
and that's pretty good distance from that tree to his garage. So I mean, if anybody was around that area, man, it could have been one of those years that but yeah, they take that tree down, took it in today, or yesterday, so it's still.
Okay. So we talked about fundraisers. So when we were interviewing Tracy, she had talked a lot about community gardens and all that kind of stuff. And then Jared had brought up, no, Jen had sent all of us maybe that thing that Spring Valley is doing for that glass.
With the greenhouse?
Oh, the greenhouse.
Well, that was in addition to the other garden stuff that they're doing. That's just a part of it.
Right. And so that kind of got us going. And then Jared had proposed that maybe we think about honoring Sue Huss with some of that. So I think we're going to try to roll out something and try to get something going. I think we're going to try to look for some grants. We're going to try to do something through Buildings and Grounds at least with, you know, the help of Tracy and the. So anyways, that was a discussion, so that we can, get that started. We talked a lot about it.
Did we, while you're on the garden topic, last year, somebody was gonna donate a tree for one of the, somebody.
It's out
Yeah,
there.
They
it's
put
out
it,
there.
but they did put it out already.
Oh.
So I
Well,
was wondering where we're gonna put everything.
4-H and
Yeah.
4-H and
can't succeed.
somebody else. Seeds to Harvest.
Um,
There's a program that 4-H does in tandem with, right now I'm blanking on it, the Master Gardeners, the
Yes, they
Extension Master Gardeners. So it's a 4-H Master Gardener thing that they do. Mendota did this last year, Seed to Harvest thing, and I know maybe a couple of other, Putnam County I think did it a few years ago, where they come out and they do some curricular stuff with the kids. They do some soil science stuff, and they help the kids grow a small range of crops, and the kids are incorporated into some of the food stuff that they're doing in school. So it's called Seeds to Harvest. So I think there'd be quite a bit of support. The 4-H is, I think, pretty active in that.
Is that something we can just go out and say 4-H?
We'd have to contact Extension at IVCC. So, and I've got relationships with people over there. So
So are you gonna reach out?
I can.
Well, we can always get it started through Buildings and Grounds and then try to like see if maybe science teachers want to help.
And
Yeah, maybe invite her to the table.
Well, I know, but I mean, like all the teachers teach science at some point, but maybe, you know, like somebody besides, well, we don't want to have it all on her. You know what I mean? Like, so maybe ask a couple.
You and I brainstorm like the little kids helping the seeds and then.
Yeah, I mean, like there's something to do for all ages, of course, but. All right, so let's see. Then we talked about the school maintenance grant, and then, because we were talking about prioritizing the boiler, the windows, the air, and then we had started talking about the school maintenance grant, and then we said that we needed a brainstorm within the board, and then that led us into, well, we don't want to replace all the windows, so we were talking about some of the money through the school maintenance grant to go towards that. Is that?
We're gonna get that again.
Yeah, okay.
What's the max on that?
It's a 50,000 split.
So anyways, we need to, and I thought I wrote down the dates for that, but I didn't. Anyways, okay, and so then we, then I wanted, so we just tonight went out and looked at the storage units. There are 10 storage units, 4 of them are rented, 1 is ours, 5 are available.
What's the space on those?
It was
They
a
have
bus
the bus.
depot, so I held a bus, school bus.
Is your Betty Marie will fit in there?
She might.
Well, she'd fit in the second one maybe, but it's, you know,
The
it's
first
not
ride is
climate
good. I mean,
controlled.
The light brings up the stall.
And it's, you know, it's not, the flooring is just
Just dirt.
gravel.
Are the agreements still in effect? Or are they expired?
No, I just got them tonight, so I was just looking through them, so.
You still have to pay. People have to pay.
So I think part of, And we talked to Chuck about it because one of the things is what we probably like to see is that the rental income covers the cost of maintaining that building. In
I
some
would
cases,
say that would be the case.
you think?
If it was minimal, the only thing we've done to the building since I've been here is put, the new gutters on the one,
It's mass gutters.
and that was making school.
All right, and so then the only other thing that was a concern of Jared's and mine was like some of the locks that we don't know if they're all accounted for. So we are still trying to figure out keys, or Tracy's trying to figure out keys. But, you know, I think that she didn't know if there's people that still had access to her office, and so we had talked about maybe getting new locks for that. Jeff came in at some point and was showing us that there's master keys for all sorts of things, but like some of them are kind of all over the place, so there's a lot of ebb and flow to the key situation, I think.
Yeah, sounds like you guys are on top, and reorganizing those and getting it sorted out, right?
Yes, so when staff come back, one of the first things I'm gonna do is like, can I see your keys, please? Because there was an inventory list with names attached to who had, you know, what assigned, but it was not kept up with for, I think, at least a year. So there's a couple, so I don't even know what people have, so I wanna like just verify that. I think that's the first thing to start with. Figure out who has what and inventory it that way. And then,
Well, and I think our proposal was that if we cannot account for all of the keys, how will we rekey the main doors? Do they still come with a cord or whatever that is, you pull those?
The doors into the building?
Yeah.
Those are controlled by power.
Right, but other people have the keys, right? Do you know how many keys we got?
Anyone have a key?
Does the fire department and the police have a key?
Yeah, I also have.
Does the police have a key?
Police do it.
so that would be helpful to know, like, I heard Al has one, but I didn't know about the police. So those would be, I just need,
So do you and Tracy have one?
yes. I have a
So you have
master
four?
to get
Yeah.
from inside, so if the power goes out, the valve
Yeah.
won't work, we're still have access to
One of the concerns with the rental space is that there's no division between people's stuff. So, you know, if you've got a key to get in there, you've got access to everybody's stuff.
The only people that have a key to that building is myself and Jeff. and Tracy.
The renters don't have access. Okay,
They-
that was not what I was-
They set up an appointment Monday through Friday with Jeff.
I guess I initially wasn't too concerned about that, but you know, when I was under the impression that the renters have keys. Are the agreements? I know we were talking about this earlier. Not all the agreements are up to date, right?
Yes, so there's some that don't have that.
Okay, so if we're a little behind on the agreements and even payments, my concern, I know it's probably not a huge concern, but there's probably a liability question with the district, like if, you know, if there's damage to equipment, if something happens in one of those buildings, and you know, if we're not covered with an agreement, we could potentially be on the hook.
So they require to carry renter's insurance?
We have,
it. It says,
their insurance information, including the ones that have their agreement in place, they have a copy of their insurance information.
Like, have you ever like said there's open ones, we ever put it out at those open ones?
Not that I'm ever aware.
I think community members are maybe share that knowledge with each other, but
Word of mouth.
I think, personally, I'd like to see the building making money.
As well.
Well, so anyways, to wrap up, I think that we just, once we get maybe next month, we can get a pulse on all of the key situation, because I just think that if we don't even know how many master keys and all that kind of stuff are out there, then we need to call the company that has so I know Pool Master gave us the actual door. there's a different company for the fobs. Is there a different company for the keys, or is that still the
You're
fob
talking
people?
about rekeying the entire building, that would be a lot.
But I was told that those doors have like a thing where you just take a piece of the door.
They would have a cord and they could reset the cord, so you'd still have to have a locksmith to key it.
Right, but our old doors came with those. We didn't get any new cores for the new doors when we bought those, or we don't know.
They came with, it's there, they came with that, they come separate, the cord is separate.
The locksmith would just come rekey it. You have the tools.
Fine, but what I'm saying is that our school used to have old cores for the
That you
old
could go
doors.
back
So
to the
I'm
old
asking
keys.
if we have cores for the new doors so that we could do it. Because I think that it's,
It doesn't seem like we do, or that anybody knows what they are. We do know them.
You'd be amazed at what I.
Well, maybe Tracy has something
You
different.
never know.
I'm just saying that it's something that we should look into so that we know what we even have. Because I know that we got new doors,
For
we've got new
security.
cameras for security, and now we don't have proper,
Security.
right. We don't
We don't
have
have
our
that.
ducks in a row, and we need to get that done. And so that is a priority of the buildings and grounds. And obviously, there's a safety committee, campus safety, so now there's two things that I think that we just need to make sure that we have things buttoned up, because we spent a lot of money on cameras and doors, and so they need to have proper access. Jared?
Do you know in the last?
Good job, Julie.
I know audit was done on like the keys, like we, I mean, is it gonna launch by Chuck was
I
there?
don't think that was a thing.
What did you say?
Like
Audit.
an audit for like a key, like keeping that like updated or?
I think
She's got the
Chris
spreadsheet
was
that Chris,
trying to keep up with it, but, you know,
it just wasn't maintained for some.
so now it's just, you know, that rabbit hole.
And
But it's an
there-
important rabbit
There
hole.
probably wasn't a lot of turnover on those keys when he left, but it just wasn't
They
maintained.
had that one weird piece.
Or even like, if you got to the selected from former employees or anything like that.
Yeah, we have that. Wasn't.
Oh, what about the dust room? The server room with all the desks and the
Check
wiring?
it out before you leave, it's all clean.
Did we fix the electrical box hanging off the wall?
Great, thanks.
Just battening down all the hatches, Bob, getting all that stuff cleaned up.
I know when we did the walkthrough a while ago, we mixed all the other locker room, bathroom things down all the way at the end. And we're
There's a lot of
disarranged.
miscellaneous
There's a lot
rooms
of
that get
things that
cleaned
need-
up.
Oh, I got one more, sorry.
Oh.
So we were also, talking about the village school and the fire department and how we are going to work with each other. And so a couple people met with two of the people from the village, right? And we have a couple fire people on our committee here, right? So I just think that we don't want to lose sight of trying to work with all of the people within this village.
How did that come up?
I think that's coming up for our next discussion.
think
It's a
she
good
should
segue.
get
It came in other items for discussion and I have it written down, so
Yeah.
I'm
We
gonna
are-
tell you.
Just on the same.
We did talk about it.
Listen, it's, I don't know, these are my notes, look at them, they're on my.
So from that, Jared and I met with the village.
I was just gonna say, the point with the keys and stuff, it'll be really good to get that all kind of hammered out, figuring out who's got what. Be good to know what teachers and all staff members have access to, because then if we need to button up some of those things, I'd probably implore you guys to make.
There were
decisions
so
to do
many
that.
keys.
I remember when I was at Lawson, I remember I walked in and we opened up this cabinet, and there's just keys
So-
hanging everywhere, so.
And we
I'm
know-
gonna go out on a limb here and say that there are so many keys that have been here for so many years, probably that have never been used.
Yeah, right.
That's why I told Tracy, day one, you inventory your keys with your stacks in front of you, what keys you have, and start. I'm pretty sure nobody that's ever been administrator here can probably tell you what those keys are.
Yeah.
They've been here forever.
There's hundreds.
Right.
Yeah, there's several.
Yeah.
So
and keys.
I
that's a good starting point, is to find out what you
It's a
have,
good one.
who has what, and then start from there.
Antiques. Do you have any like skeleton keys in there from like?
I'm sure there are.
I do in
I
my
did not
house.
see any in there.
There
My
is
house
a,
came with a whole bag of them.
I gotta say, There's an FFA scrapbook buried in one of those cabinets.
It was in
That
Bertha.
So cool. It's like this thick, and it
Yeah.
goes back decades and decades and decades. There's pictures of old FFA meetings in the small gym in the middle of that thing. There is so much history.
I'd like to
Yeah.
see that.
And then
It's really cool.
yearbooks from the, like,
Every yearbook.
We need like a yearbook library wall.
Good.
and Lawson has like the
I
those
like
posters.
I'm a lot, I don't know.
Okay, next time, let's keep going. All right, so Jared and I met with the village. Bob offered to come, but I thought this initial meeting, we should just have community member to community member. We talked about what we could do to help each other. We were more on the same page than we thought we were gonna be, I think. Don't you feel that way?
Yeah, I was surprised. That was nice to see.
It was Eric and Mark Zimmer, and they gave us some ideas on what we need to work on, and we gave us some ideas on what we'd like to see. One of the things that came up was bilingual, which hopefully we can take care of with that one-room classroom at the very least. That'll be in the winter when we get involved in that. But being
You mean the
able
virtual classroom?
to, yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's one, that's called one room something, I think.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember. And then it's been so long since we met. What was the FFA and the ag, they feel is very important also. And to reach out to like, I'm gonna butcher the seed company's names, I don't want to.
Okay.
How you say it?
Okay, right?
Lukesh. And then I know Molly Thompson is I think she is part of the LP ag startup program, so we could reach out to some community members and maybe get some of this stuff, get them in the classroom. That helps us with the initiative to get careers in the classroom too. So we can get together. Eric was gonna go back to the town and village members and see what they thought about continuing to, well, we all wanna get together, the village and the fire department and major community members and work towards a common goal. What
We-
else?
Yeah, we kind of heard from them about some of the things that they think might be helpful for the school. And we talked with them a little bit about things like what the village can be doing to pull in young families, more young families, and things like residential development. And that resonated. I was surprised. It really did resonate with them. Eric was super receptive to really like putting pen to paper and starting to think about what parts of the town can be, what we can start doing to attract investment.
Yeah, that was one of the things we talked about in the finance committee. You know, I don't know if you guys know anything about Seneca, but like Dan Stecken over there is working with the city of Seneca, and they are developing a ton of acreage and doing a subdivision.
It's already developed.
Yeah, and the school's doing it. The school's got Seneca. The school's got the money to be able to do that, right?
The school's working with them, not the town.
They're partnering with the village to create a subdivision because housing in that community is really expensive because there's just not enough of us. And so to curb that, get more families in, this was kind of their solution, which is very creative. Now, like, so they're in a much different space financially than we are.
They're brand new house plan, aren't they?
Yes, so they have money that they could do that with, be creative with, I think, and stuff. But, I mean, it's pretty rare. I don't think there's another school in the state that's doing those kind of creative things.
But, you know, that's just an example that, you know, the city partnering with the school, obviously the school's got funding, but they're thinking, how do we get students into our district and families into our community? You know, so really that's what needs to happen. I mean, I was fortunate to find the house that I did when I moved into Tonica, but there's nothing else really for younger families unless you're gutting a house like Matt did, or you get lucky and find something that I did when I bought. So, you know, obviously being forward thinking in that, you know, the only way to increase our enrollment is to get more single family households.
So Eric is more aware of that than we originally thought he was. So I think we will see some movement in that area, but I think the next step is to get us all together in one room, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's really important that we don't drop the ball. We just keep going with it, both at the village level. School level.
So I'm just wondering if the next step is to reach out to the, I guess we're reaching out to the fire department to see if you can. And so we set a couple dates maybe, which Matt started a calendar. We probably need, because that's just July.
It's just, yeah, we'll have to extend it
I'll
on.
have to extend it out and see when people can get together. So I guess it's getting communication to everyone. Maybe, what do you guys think? Should we send like a letter as the board out to the village, fire department, some community members?
What's your thought as far as like the fire department's involvement?
Just having,
Event.
they're just, yeah, or
A
like,
voice.
voice.
Okay.
I mean, they're not for profit. I mean, like, you know,
Yeah.
we don't have a lot of money there, but like if we can try to, you know, just like the board went and did something for them, you know what I mean? And they come to us all the time to give fire
Yeah.
prevention weekend.
Could use a parking lot for.
Right, right. So like, I think just, you know, keeping those
Yeah.
lines open.
They let us use the wine tasting too. They let us use their.
Yeah,
I can't speak to that, I didn't go to that.
I think they
They
did.
used to do like a trivia night or something, I think they said too.
Yeah, they did like a wine tasting there.
Yeah, they've done different things where they posted fundraisers there, you know, in the past, before, yeah,
Or it
before,
was like, some kind of.
before COVID, they did stuff like this.
Julie used the term the big three, I think, like in town, because those three, like the school, the village, and the fire department are kind of like our big three public kind of institutions. And, you know, we've got, between the three of them, there's a lot of,
So do we get the big three together then?
I think maybe eventually, I think establishing a relationship with the village, getting that going and trying to identify those areas of overlapping interest, that's probably priority. But I do think developing those relationships with the fire department too is important. And, you know, as well as like some of the more, some of those big families.
Well, we have businesses here, so I mean, like, we reach out to
Businesses, yeah.
businesses, farms.
4-H club, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, like, there's all sorts of stuff that,
Yeah.
like, that's why I was gonna, if we talk with the village, it'd be like, it'd be great if their web, I mean, even our website can link to the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and kids activities, right? Like, because we're still fairly new, I don't know who runs the Girl Scouts, my daughter's gonna wanna do it soon, I'm sure I can.
Well,
Find
that's
out.
Nicole Fundell, so I don't know who's.
She does, Nicole does the older ones. I only know it's my daughter doing one year.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like,
Becky Schmidt and Becky
gotta-
are doing.
You gotta know
Well,
somebody
I
to
shouldn't say
find
Schmidt,
out.
Yeah, but Shelley.
Draper. Draper's doing the other one. She's.
Is that Shelley?
Yeah.
It's just more the idea that
Yeah.
we could promote some of this, help promote some of these activities
The
too.
Boy Scouts, I don't know if
The
it's the
villages.
guy out in Camp Kishwa that was doing it, Al
Huh?
Gal. Is that his name?
Tom Furo, I think he's,
The
yeah.
kids used
He
to
was
go there
doing,
and then
he
I think
stopped
they
doing
went
Boy
to.
Scouts a while ago.
He's the one that owns
Is that the
the,
one? Maybe
yeah,
they're doing Boy Scouts?
I don't know, but
He lives out by Camp Kishwa, out by, he's actually all up in this.
I haven't looked for a couple of years, but last I remember the village's website was really, really, really sparse. I think
I got it.
maybe that can be another thing, because again, it's like overlapping interests. You know, the better our community looks when you come and visit us
What do we need?
online, the more attractive we are for young families. So, I mean, if they can know what's happening in our community, our school, it can link to the school's website too. That would be a big help.
So do we think we need to go back to the village one more time and then move further? After we know what the trustees of the village think, or what? What do we think should be the next step?
I'd say let's, like, make sure we hear back from Eric after the next board meeting. I don't know if they've had one since we
They
met,
we did.
but I'd like to know if it was on the agenda. If it wasn't, there's probably no point in trying to get together. And I want to make sure that we get together after the village has had a chance to have the board members get a chance to talk about this, so that we know, what they think. I don't want to blindside them with a bunch of, school board ideas and questions and things like that they haven't even heard.
All right, I'll start there.
I mean, I guess everybody checks out social media and they always check out different things. So like if I'm going to be moving someplace, I'm gonna check out all the web pages, right? So like school, the village, and so maybe that's where we actually have to start is a webmaster or something.
We have enough on our community page on our school site, it doesn't have, like, there's no.
It needs
It's
to be
got links to the
updated.
village of Elizabeth. City of Oglesby. Starbucks.
Just gonna
I
say,
wondered
probably
about
has
that.
to be
Los Angeles, like, yeah, I'd rather, instead of Oglesby, maybe, the 4-H club. The local club, so
So-
there's a different town you could live in.
We may not have the financial capacity to invest in a suburban development or something, but maybe one of the first steps in a partnership between the village and the school would be for something online like that, to really bolster the way that we look online between our website and the village's website and stuff like that.
Could we hire a webmaster that will do both,
That'd be
the
cool.
village and the schools?
Maybe. If we don't ask for the TIF money back, if whatever direction we go, another direction we can go is, can we help have a voice at the table of how you spend it?
Okay, so you'll talk to them and then decide what we're gonna do. Just an idea session.
That's how it came up in buildings and grounds, because you had started talking about your committee or that you're meeting with them. And then I was like, well, what can the school do to make the town look better? And so then I talked about signs, like we used to promote the signs for Tonica grade school.
All right.
Then we were talking about maybe we could bring back just Tonica signs and give them to all sorts of people, right? Like to give them out,
Put
so
them on the side of the road where they're driving to Starbucks.
we can do whatever we want.
I love the green.
But I think that we got those from Coons,
Is there a
from
lot?
Savvy T. Well, there's still some, but those say Tonica Braves. I'm saying, why don't we promote just Tonica?
Okay, so
Right,
that leads
so-
us into Tonica Fest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Relevant, man. You want me to not share it there? That'll make it easier.
Here.
Okay.
You got the
Reach.
power.
Maybe. And, which side of the is? Too many computers. Pretty good. Is it going?
Yep.
It's working. I'm gonna do this too. Sure.